Guys, the Oscars are this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited.
I'm so stoked.
I'm going to wear a tux and get drunk in the daytime.
You're not.
No, I'm probably not going to watch
Why
it
would you
at
do
all.
that?
But that doesn't mean that I haven't devoted time into thinking about the Oscars. So that when I Google it when it's over, I can be satisfied to see that I was right with all my predictions, which is what we're doing today.
Hey.
Everybody's here. David.
Hey.
Riley.
Hello.
And a special guest.
Ooh.
It's Brandon from LTT.
Hello.
Hey, Brandon.
This feels special.
You're the most movie guy out of all of us.
Am I?
Well,
Maybe, yeah.
Sorry, David.
That's okay.
Maybe.
I've seen more movies
I've
this year.
seen the most movies out of
There
all
we
of us
go.
in the room, I think.
That's
is
what I meant.
We've concluded.
In life? Okay. Brandon has seen the most of the Oscar-nominated movies. I think, have you seen them all?
I have. Well, I've seen all for Best Picture. I haven't seen every single Oscar-nominated film because I've missed a couple, but I've seen most of them.
But what about in general life? 'Cause
Disgraceful.
David said when he went to film school, he used to watch like 3 movies a day or something
At
crazy.
least 3 movies.
Oh,
At
I don't.
least.
In general, okay. So I actually I did this. I went on. I tracked my movies, but with Letterboxd, and I went through all the ones I can remember that I've seen. I'm at about 550.
What is Letterboxd?
It's an app that lets you to track what you've watched and review movies. It's like a user review. Like it's kind of like if you could think about Rotten Tomatoes, but it's like in an app that you can track.
Goodreads.
Yeah.
It's like Goodreads.
Goodreads. I've never heard of Goodreads.
First big brain moment of the episode. I read books.
Okay, wait. 550 movies this year?
No, that I've been able to track in my lifetime
okay.
so
This
far.
year,
Okay.
But
Jesus.
I'm sure it's more than that. I just can't think of every movie so far.
Right.
Okay.
So
Way too
Brandon,
hard.
you work at Linus Media Group. What do you do here?
I am one of the cinematographers.
You've been here for...
I've been here the longest. I've been here for 7.5 years.
Are you like employee number 4 or something?
Employee number 4 of
Wow.
Holy
You should
crap.
be interviewing us.
LTT? No.
I'd love talking about myself.
No. Not
So
fun.
guys, what we're going to do today is make predictions about all the Oscars. We're going to bet on it. We're going to make a bet about who's going to win what Oscars, and you guys can follow along because we're just filling out a spreadsheet that David made that we've shared on Twitter, and you can find it and fill it out yourself. And if you get more points than us, cool for you.
You're better at Oscar predictions than the 4 of us.
We're trying to figure out a prize right now, or have we decided?
Or is it a punishment?
Let's go with prize. I like positive reinforcement.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, whoever gets the best score is going to win. Someone blurt something out.
You could just
Whatever
I was
Twitter
like,
says, we win.
That's.
Ooh.
milkshake.
I think a milkshake is the. That's the reigning champ right now because we want something that the audience can experience. So the next episode, the winner will have a big fat milkshake here. Did I say milkshake?
Milk Jake.
Whoa. Jake just walked by.
The winner will be able to bring all the boys to the yard.
So if you look at your spreadsheet, David made it so that if you correctly guess the winner, you get 3 points. There's 2 columns here. There's who you think you'll win and who what your favorite pick is. Because I might think that 1917 will win Best Picture, but I think Ford v Ferrari was my favorite movie of the year, and that's my Best Picture. This is not my opinion, by the way.
You're allowed to use your favorite category, which is only worth 1 point, for a second pick. So you can kind of like safety your pick. And
You can
kind of
hedge.
You can hedge, exactly. And you can play the game that way. Or if you're certain that something's going to win, you can put the same movie in both and get 4 points for the category.
Oh.
You better believe I did that too.
Really? Oh, Brandon, you're bad.
I just followed my heart. I wasn't trying to strategize.
I moneyballed the whole thing.
Yeah.
I love the different approaches here. Brandon just watched all the movies. Riley hasn't even filled it out yet.
Full commitment.
I think I've seen like 2 or 3 out of the ones that keep reappearing on these categories.
And me, James, well, I found out there's a thing called precursors, which is leading up to the Oscars, there's a bunch of other award shows. There's the Golden Globes. There's award ceremonies for all the different disciplines.
You've never heard of the Golden Globes?
Oh, I know that, but I didn't know that there's like the Screen Actors Guild Awards and there's the Writing Guild Awards and there's the ACE for Editing Awards. And if you look at all of those different precursors to the Oscars, you can get a good sense of what's going to happen. Because for some of them, like the producers one, I think that one tracks the most closely. It's like 9 out of 10 times they predict it, Best Picture. Some of them are only like 2 out of 3 times.
What's that called again?
Well, they're known. Well, it's too late for you, pal.
I was about to Google it.
Secret name.
Dang it.
Okay, so David, what are we starting with?
We're going to start with Best Supporting Female.
Supporting?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to work up, and then we're going to go to a random place, and then we're going to go back up, and we're going to have a good time. It's going to be great. Going on an adventure, boys.
Yeah, we don't want to. Whoa, my God, my mic is flying around.
So
Wow.
I'll go through the nominees each time we get to a category, just so we can kind of refresh. So in this category, there's Kathy Bates from the movie Richard Jewell, Laura Dern from the movie Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson from Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh.
Pugh.
Sorry, I'm bad at names sometimes. From Little Women, and Margot Robbie from Bombshell.
Man, Scarlett Johansson's nominated for 2 different movies this year.
And she's not going to win either of them.
She's in Marriage Story,
Really?
and she's in Jojo Rabbit.
You don't think she's gonna win? Hollywood loves ScarJo.
Oh, of course. I mean, we can go right into our picks. I think the winner, based on kind of my research, is going to be Laura Dern.
Yeah, she won everything, all the other things.
And so it seems to be a pretty unanimous decision. That being said, my favorite performance was Florence Pugh.
So do you have
Pugh.
Laura Dern for predicted and personal favorite Florence?
Yes.
That's what I have.
Wow, I have the opposite of you guys.
What do you have?
I think Florence Pugh is going to win. Or Pugh?
Pugh.
Sorry.
Look, it's like-
I think
it's
Florence
like
Pugh
Hugh,
is going
except with a
to
P.
win Best Supporting Female Actress.
Oh.
But Laura Dern was my favorite.
See,
think
I'm so
Florence-
opposite to you because Laura Dern does nothing for me. I hate her face. I don't really like. Although,
Her appearance is what you're judging her on now?
no, it's not that. It's not.
How
that.
shallow,
It's her
James.
vibe. It's her vibe. Although that said, her vibe in Marriage Story, for which she is nominated, that's what she was going for. She was kind of like.
She's a bully.
She's kind of a bully. She's kind of like reprehensible, but also she's doing her job. Doing her job and kind of like going up to bat for her client, which is Scarlett Johansson, a woman in a divorce case. So it's like she's kind of good at what she does, but I also just don't like her. I don't like her in Star Wars. Who is she?
Yeah.
Who is she in Star Wars?
Admiral Holdo.
The Holdo maneuver.
Got
I would not
maneuver
blame
late-
her for the Star Wars. The character was just bad.
I don't know, man. I just
Wow.
something about her.
I feel like there's actors that can kind of disappear, and then there's actors that you're like, oh, hey, that's them. And I feel like Laura Dern's always someone that in every movie I'm like, that's
Hey,
Laura Dern. And
Jurassic
the way
Park.
she moves, the way she like moves her mouth, the way she kind of like has her mannerisms, it's always recognizable as Laura Dern.
See, I'm surprised I got this one right.
What do you mean?
As in it's. I'm assuming it's right, but I also picked Laura Dern for the predicted winner, even though I haven't seen Marriage Story. But I think everyone loves. I mean, Hollywood loves her. The people love her right now. She's so hot right now.
What makes you say that? How do you know that?
Because everyone was attacking her after The Last Jedi. Everything that I know relates back to Star Wars.
Your entire understanding of life is based on Star Wars.
Like the people who hated The Last Jedi were hating on her character, and people were like, "No, Lauren Dern is amazing" and stuff. And now she's actually like, I feel like she's starred in a number of things recently where she wasn't really doing a ton of stuff for a while. I think it's Laura Dern.
LD's back, baby.
And my personal favorite was Margot Robbie, just because I like Margot Robbie. I think she's a great actor.
You didn't even see Bombshell.
Nope.
you didn't watch Bombshell and you think Margot Robbie is the...
Well, she's
Look,
not nominated for
look,
Hollywood. So.
My whole thing in this episode of the podcast is going to be like I'm following my heart, my gut, because I haven't seen a lot of these movies.
Okay, fair enough.
She is great, and she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but she's not nominated for that.
Has
It was a pretty small
anyone
part.
in this room besides me seen Bombshell?
No.
It was an excellent film on some levels, but also it left me disappointed as I walked out of the theater. But Margot Robbie, in particular, she plays a character that is an amalgamation of about maybe like 12 people.
Oh.
All of their
Lot to
experiences,
draw
because she's
from.
not a real person in the context.
Whereas
of
other
the
people
story.
in that movie are.
like Charlie's plays Megyn Kelly, who obviously it's about her standing up for the women, and then all the other women in Fox.
So Margot Robbie has to act even harder to portray 12 different people.
She's the every woman. Okay.
She was good in that film, to be fair, but I don't think she's gonna win.
Well, I didn't say that she's going to win. I
She's your
said she's my
favorite.
personal favorite.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're just throwing those points to the wind.
No, I like it. Sometimes there's upsets. sometimes there's-
Wait. I missed this. Personal favorite.
Every damn
if,
time.
If your personal favorite wins, you also get a point.
You get a point.
Okay.
So your predicted winner is worth 3, and your favorite is worth 1 if you get
I'm
it correct.
sticking with it,
Yeah.
David.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I threw away a couple of my favorites just so I can have the opportunity to talk about how much I like a movie or a person. So don't even worry about it. Riley,
I feel great.
I accept you.
I
Are we
feel-
doing supporting males now?
Now we are.
Okay.
James, why don't you start us off?
Oh boy. I got the same guy written in both right now, and that's Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, first of all, he won all the precursors. Second, he's like 2018's DiCaprio, where like when DiCaprio hadn't got it was 2018 that DiCaprio got an Oscar for Revenant, right? And everyone's like, finally. I think Brad Pitt's like that too. He's never had an acting Oscar.
Has he not?
No. He has won an Oscar before, but he was a producer.
Was it for 12 Years a Slave?
Yes, 12 Years a Slave, yeah.
And Moneyball.
What?
He didn't win for Moneyball.
He got a nomination. He got a nomination for Moneyball,
Great.
but he didn't win.
Great title, though.
So, yeah, best supporting for Brad.
I fully agree
I
with
think
that.
he deserves it.
He's had a very good year.
Because that's how we give awards,
Honestly,
right?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I don't think I would have liked that movie without Brad Pitt. He was by far my favorite character in that movie.
Totally.
Like, and I walked out of that movie like, I liked it, but I didn't love it
Same.
the same way that like I loved Inglourious Bastards. But Brad Pitt, you're right. I agree.
Yeah, when he throws that dog food in that guy's face, it's sweet.
I love that whole final scene when he's like fighting the people on acid and he's like beating the crap out of them. And you're like, this is just great revenge, alternate history porn for Tarantino. But like, this feels good. This just feels good.
Very good.
Who was he beating up?
Also, well, hold on. We don't want to do spoilers, really.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
We'll avoid
Lightly
My bad.
spoilers.
And so Riley,
I put Joe Pesci
as your winner?
for winner because, has he gotten an Oscar?
Yes.
Yeah, what's that?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, eh?
Well, I think he deserves another one. I love the guy.
It's been 40 years. Give him another one.
Except for you would not sit through The Irishman.
Nope. I got
Okay.
a quarter. I got a quarter of the way through The Irishman. To be fair, that's an hour because it's a 4-hour movie.
You
Three
made it
and a
that
half.
far?
Whatever.
Guys, I watched this movie 3 different sessions. I still was only halfway through it. I never finished it. I don't care.
You never finished
Ridiculous.
it?
Yeah, I turned it 10 minutes off. The
Man,
CG was too bad.
None of you guys finished
The
it.
CG was too bad.
Yeah, it was awful CG.
wasn't
Man, that's
that
It was
bad.
only awful in the first 20 minutes. Once you get past the first 20 minutes, it's great.
When you get used to it.
When you just start to... No, it was actually legitimately pretty good. It was just that first scene where he has to look the youngest.
You know what the
It
biggest
just didn't really work.
You know what the biggest problem with that movie is with the CGI is because they can mask the face, but they can't mask the body language. Like when Robert De Niro is like curb stomping that guy, it's like that is an 80-year-old man.
Fair enough.
That is a weak, frail
I mean, I
stomp.
think that just kind of worked for the style that they shot the violence in that film too. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Just decrepit.
You think your teeth are messed up? You should see my hip.
So I picked Brad Pitt as well for my predicted winner. It just seems like an obvious choice. I think he is the best thing about that movie, and I really thought that movie was pretty good, but Brad Pitt's just so charismatic in that in a way that I haven't seen in a long time. But my personal favorite is Tom Hanks in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
You know what? Maybe I'll change mine because I loved that movie on a lot of levels, and Tom Hanks is amazing in
He's
it.
like 10 out of 10 in that movie.
Is that movie not about him? Like, how is it not a lead role?
He's a supporting because it's not.
It's about the guy.
The film isn't directly about Mr. Rogers and what he stands for. You get that experience through the main character who is a journalist doing a piece on Mr. Rogers. And he's kind of like forced to do the piece on him and learns about himself and his relationship with his father through Mr. Rogers and his positive outlook on life.
Yeah, and I might be a little bit biased because like I watched the Mr. Rogers documentary and pretty much cried the whole way through. Yeah. Pretty much every time Tom Hanks is on screen, I was crying. It's just powerful.
Really?
It's like very moving, and he never is impersonating Mr. Rogers, but he's like embodying him. It's like a more deeper truth where he's not like putting on this weird voice. He's not doing this. It's like
a lot of people
very
were,
pure.
including myself, were skeptical about it when you saw him on screen. Like, it's Tom Hanks. I can't not see Tom Hanks. And
Immediately.
You'll get over it.
Yeah,
You'll get over it.
That's exactly what I felt. I wish that I also haven't seen this movie. I wish that I had seen this before this because his accent rubbed me the wrong way in the trailer. He had
as a
some
voice
He had
actor.
some sharp. He had some soft Southern R's when it was supposed to be a little sharper.
can you give us an example here?
Okay, he was doing like a Tom Hanks thing where it's like, "Oh, life's like a box of chocolates," and he like Mr. Rogers.
Mama,
He
you
was
ain't
doing
got to
Mr.
die.
Rogers instead of Mr. Rogers. Mr. Roger has some kind of sharper R's.
But I think anyone doing the Mr. Rogers voice is going to come across as weird. And it's like such a unique voice that only he can pull off somehow.
He shouldn't have been acted.
He
Shouldn't
just
have been
should have made this
portrayed.
movie.
Leave him alone. Leave him in the grave.
It's a very lovely portrayal of him. I think
Is
you
he
should watch
dead?
it.
It's such
Yes,
a positive
in
film.
2002 or 2003.
You can't watch that movie and not like.
I'm gonna
feel
watch
the
it.
Positivity.
Riley, what was your favorite though? What was your favorite one?
My personal favorite for supporting actor male?
Yes.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, you guys are overlooking 2 popes. Did any of you guys watch it?
No, okay.
Jonathan Pryce finally gets a big role.
Hilariously, that movie is probably one of the most accessible to watch because it's just on Netflix. But I remember watching the trailer as it auto played on Netflix, and like I can't watch this movie.
Well, I put
Yeah.
it on, you Philistines. And I made it a good 35, 40 minutes before I just was like,
really?
I'm going to bed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I ever plan on seeing this movie, but two old guys kind of playing off each other. Anthony Hopkins, he played Hannibal.
Sure
Anthony Hopkins is
He's
amazing.
a legend.
Yeah.
Have you
so
watched
come on.
Westworld? He is the reason that the first season of Westworld is so good.
Westworld. Yeah. I watched
Yeah,
almost all of
Westworld.
season 1.
Yeah, Westworld. I was
Yeah,
so stoked for
wasn't
that
so
show,
great.
and it totally went down the tubes for me.
After season 1.
No, I didn't
Season
bother with
1 was so
I
good
didn't even
by
bother
the
with
end.
season 2.
No,
man.
by the end.
Yeah.
It took.
No, it
takes
got worse.
No, it didn't.
It got worse as it went.
Oh,
I think the final
I
episode of
disagree
that
with
season
you.
is awesome, but it doesn't make up for like the long stretch of like okay before.
Yeah.
There's like a 3 solid episodes where people are just riding a train into Indian country, and I was just like, this is boring.
Yeah.
The silence is agreement.
like
he
I would-
knows in his heart.
Yeah, all right.
You should
And
be
I'm-
like Riley and follow
was
your
not
heart.
was not my favorite part.
Anthony
Oh my
Hopkins.
We're
But
gonna move on.
the reveal is good.
Yeah, fair enough. We're gonna go on to best performance by a actor of the female variety.
But not the supporting kind.
No, the lead kind.
Best lead actor female.
I'll go first. This was a
Is that
hard
what
category.
they call it? They call it best lead actor
I can't remember
female.
this. No, it's like they changed it in recent years because it's not actresses anymore. It's
Yeah.
actors.
Best actor in a leading role, female. I believe that's what it is.
That's not a great sentence.
Yeah, I feel like female is weird in that context. It's like a biological. Anyways, continue.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So the nominees in this one are Cynthia Erivo from Harriet, Scarlett Johansson from Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan from Little Women, Renee Zellweger from Judy, and Charlize Theron from Bombshell. So I'm going to go with my favorite first, which was Saoirse Ronan in Little Women. I think she does a lot in that movie to be so likable. And like Little Women's not material that I'm super into, but that movie's excellent. And I think a lot of that is just the charisma that Saoirse Ronan has.
Why aren't you into Little Women?
I like normal sized people.
The movie's about tiny women, right? Like,
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but the playing it safe based on the research and kind of who's won, it looks like Renee Zellweger as Judy Garland is going to win. I haven't watched that movie, watched the trailer, and like, sure, it looks good. But if we're going to give, I don't know, I don't know.
I've never even heard of the movie Judy.
Sadly, that's one of the other movies I did not watch and had very little interest to
Did
watch.
you say sadly?
Yeah.
If it's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Little Women, though, was excellent. My predicted winner was Saoirse Ronan, and then my personal favorite was Scarlett Johansson for this.
Oh dang!
Yes.
I got it right again. When Brandon when my predictions matched up with Brandon's, that means I win.
Okay, cool.
ScarJo all the way.
She was so good in Marriage Story.
She was very good, but I thought that she
so
got
char-
outshined a little bit by Adam Driver.
I think that them together was amazing, and I outshine. Like, what do you mean outshined? You think he delivered a better performance overall than she did?
Yeah, I think so.
A little paler.
It's hard though because like his performance is so good because she is so good, and they play off each other, and you can't have one without
Yeah.
the other.
That
Acting is
movie-
reacting. That's
Yeah.
what Morgan Freeman said in an interview I saw years ago, and it really stuck with me.
I think she does perform. I don't fully disagree. I feel like Adam Driver had me more compelled, but I also think part of that is
Why is that though?
I think
What
part of it is
was
just
more
as-
compelling about him?
As a male, I can identify more, and so I think it's less about the performance and more about the lens by which I'm watching this movie. So
I'm not 100% sure it's gendered, but I also was more sympathetic to him,
For
to
sure.
his character
Yep.
in that. But he's just more dynamic. We'll get to him. We'll talk about him.
James, what are yours?
Well, I put Renee Zellweger because she won everything leading up to this. All the precursors.
oh.
Yeah. But I kind of think that Cynthia Erivo might win because, they need more representation in this show. And this is like the whitest Oscars since 2016.
Did you see Harriet?
No, I saw the trailer. It looked pretty badass.
So wait, who's your actual winner?
You
You can't do that. You can't.
I told you my predicted winner is Renee.
Okay, geez Louise.
I saw the review for Harriet. The tagline was, "We've been waiting for like centuries for the definitive Harriet Tubman movie. This isn't it."
This
Ooh,
is
yike.
this is not.
Apparently, her performance is excellent, and she carries the movie on her back. But the rest of the movie is just like a paint by numbers movie that is nothing special.
Not Harriet the Spy.
I just love that movie. It's a great movie.
That's the only Harriet reference I know.
If
Guys,
Harriet's in the movie, there better be espionage.
guys, we're gonna go to performance by a male actor person.
Oh, is that what it's actually called?
Yeah, that's it. Official name.
I had Joaquin Phoenix. He won the the Golden Globes.
I know. Why is he winning all these
And
awards?
the BAFTA. He won the BAFTA.
And the BAFTA.
I think he kind of deserves it. I think in the same way that it's seemingly Harriet is elevated by her performance, he single-handedly makes that movie special. And I don't we've talked about this on the podcast. I don't know if we released that episode. Did we?
No, the Joker episode will be released maybe one day. But it's never been released. But you're right. He carries that movie.
Yeah, we talk about it, and it's an okay movie, and like we all liked it fine. But it's him that made it good, and it's him that he's the reason why people are still talking about it. Like he single-handedly makes that movie elevated into like a new stratosphere, where it's before it would have just been like an okay like villain movie.
I agree, but I don't think he makes the movie good. I think he makes it somewhat tolerable. So
Better?
it's like, is that the threshold? Like we have a crappy movie and an actor does a decent job at making it watchable.
Oh,
Why don't we
Riley,
talk
you didn't
about-
like Joker?
It was the worst. I hated it.
You hated it.
Oh, it was all right. Okay, look, I think I gave it like a 5 or a 4.5 out of 10.
Damn.
Damn,
That
girl.
was lame.
His acting is amazing in it, and
No,
I think
it's
I
not.
think
And
David's
here-
right. You wouldn't see that movie would not. It would just be an okay villain movie without Joaquin Phoenix.
Totally.
Hear me out. Hear me out. This is what I said in our unreleased Joker podcast. He actually didn't do that great of a job acting. It was like, oh, I'm going to get really skinny and we're going to have a ton of like shots of my skinny weird body and I'm going to do this like weird dancing with violin music all the time. And I'm just going to be like really subdued. Look.
The dedication to that, and then the actual the preparation. You're discounting his preparation.
It's the win an Oscar by playing person with mental issues.
I will say
type
he
thing.
didn't play the Joker. He played
Exactly.
Arthur.
And that's also what bothered me a lot about that movie was that was not the Joker. That was
Yeah, but are you pinning that on him or are you pinning that on like screenwriters Todd Phillips or something?
That's a bonus. That's a bonus thing. The main thing was that I didn't think his performance was particularly compelling as a entry in the best actor category. Like I'm sure there are other people who did like Adam Driver.
Yeah, let's talk about who he's up against. He's up against Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Jonathan Pryce for Two Popes, and Leo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I mean Hollywood.
See, I haven't even seen Marriage Story, and I have Adam Driver as my personal favorite.
Oh my
It all
god.
comes back to Star
He is
Wars.
good. My predicted winner for this one was Joaquin Phoenix, and then my personal favorite was Adam Driver. But while we're still on the acting category, I am so sad that no one from Parasite was nominated for either.
That was sad.
Yeah.
That's like it's so
they
back to
were
the diversity
phenomenal.
thing. It's like it's that entire cast was so good at every level.
They did
So
win
good.
an ensemble cast at another show.
I think the BAFTAs or was
Maybe the Golden Globes.
one of them. They did win. That was awesome. But the fact that none of them of all the great acting that's in that film,
Do you
none of them were
think that
nominated.
has to do with the Academy being non-Korean speaking and watching? This is what we talked about in that
sure.
Parasite podcast was you're reading this with subtitles, and because you're kind of processing that and you can't hear all the inflections in the language, maybe you don't hear the actors as individuals as much.
Man, I mean, I think as someone who speaks English and you're reading the subtitles, I think that shows how good their acting is when they are. It's so good when it's in a language that you don't like understand.
I agree, but I think that there is a problem with having equal ground to measure them on. Like we know what constitutes a really good performance in English, but I think that people who don't watch a ton of Korean film maybe don't really know how to evaluate it, right?
Do you feel like there's such a huge distinction between like the fact that the film is in Korean and they're all Korean actors
Not
for
huge.
acting performance?
Not a
Like,
huge
I do.
distinction. What?
I do because you can only judge the characters based on their actions and you know their actions from what you see on the screen and what you read in the subtitles. You can't really pick up on subtext as much,
Right?
Because you also cannot simultaneously look at the screen and read the subtitles, so you might miss some certain cues.
No, that's a good point. I think that there are probably some like very subtle like things about Korean acting or things that happen in Korean culture that we didn't pick up on, and that people in the Academy maybe were thinking.
I mean, culturally, I felt like it's just the nuance of Korean. I don't know, the Korean culture being set in that place, and then the physicality that they have when you live there. It all worked really well. That's good performance.
I agree.
For acting.
I agree with you, but I think that maybe that's the justification is that they're like, okay, we thought they were really good, but can we really say, on these objective measures that we all.
Here's
Such
my
a
question:
shame.
if you could pick one male and one female from Parasite, who would you have picked, either for lead or supporting? I think I would have
Now
picked.
you have to remember their names.
I can't remember the actors' names.
I would have picked the sister of the poor family.
Yep. and the dad from The Poor Family
I
too.
guess.
I think.
Yeah.
I think those are the two I would have.
Honestly, I think my second favorite would be the mom.
Oh,
Because she is so good as just like someone who is, because she told the line up, because when
The rich
I think,
mom?
Yes, the rich mom. Because when she is first introduced, he's like, the character's like, oh, she's a little bit, special. But and you could easily write her off as like, okay, she's just like that stupid mom character.
She's
but she told
pizza
the
box is
line.
the slowest.
no, he's talking about the rich mom.
The rich mom.
The rich mom.
Oh, the rich mom.
She told the line between like, just she's not the brightest person, but she also like is very caring, and there's a lot of nuance to her character, and
Yeah.
she's not just like a stupid mom character.
You didn't want to
Like,
just hate her.
no.
You're like, she's doing her best.
Yeah, she's just trying really hard. She
Yeah.
just isn't the smartest person.
But I wouldn't give Best Actor to anyone in that movie because none of those roles were conducive to deserving Best Actor. To me, a Best Actor performance has to have some kind of like big monologue or like move me to tears or like a darkest hour kind of big speech that's compelling and rousing. Whereas like Marriage Story is like a platform for actors to do that. Huge monologues
Right.
that are uncut.
And that's why I
You get to
picked,
punch a hole in the wall.
and that's why I picked Antonio Banderas.
I actually want to see that movie. Did you see Pain and Glory?
I didn't see that. Again, another one.
See,
of
you
the
guys
ones
haven't even
I've
seen it. You
missed.
can't laugh.
No, it's fine.
He probably did a great job.
Whoa.
Very well reviewed.
He was
It has
great in Doolittle.
97% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey, what about Snubs? Does anyone here?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, David, hello.
Damn, come on.
Okay.
David,
Predicted winner, Joaquin Phoenix. He's gonna win. That's a pretty easy win.
Say that again.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay, thank you.
Joaquin.
walking.
And then, as my personal favorite, this is one of the categories I hadn't fully decided on. I had either Adam Driver or Leo DiCaprio, which is going to be controversial for me. I don't usually like Leo DiCaprio.
What?
He
I
was
think
different in that movie.
He was very different. He wasn't just Leo. He was someone else. And like when he's having his freak out in the trailer after he's kind of screwed up his lines, I was like,
So good.
this is something I'm like not used to seeing from him. Like there's more dimension. There's more like humor. There's more like angles at which he's attacking these lines that I really appreciate. And I think he did an amazing job. And it's sad that because he won last year or the year before, people are just like immediately writing off his performance as like whatever. But I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, he never plays a depressive character.
No.
He's always just like a hot shot.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can kind of
Totally.
slick.
And I really like that.
I think the funny thing too is I didn't like The Revenant, and I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood more than The Revenant, and he won for that obviously.
Yeah.
So
I think he didn't deserve The Revenant though. It was just like due.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think
And
I feel like that's the general consensus is that he won because he was way overdue for an Oscar, but that shouldn't have been what he won for.
That's
The
fair.
bear helped too.
The Bear.
The bear carried him.
Should have won. Honorary Oscar.
Okay, snubs
James
though. Snubs, bro.
Well, James and Riley, I missed your personal favorites.
Huh?
Oh, you're recording all of this. I had Adam Driver for my personal favorite.
Me too.
So, do you
too.
guys think?
I love his face.
He's great.
Yeah.
He was a Marine.
God damn it.
Adam Driver was a Marine.
I know. And he has a foundation to help people, the military people or something.
It's called
That's
his
cool.
chest.
What a good guy.
It holds up that face. I'm gonna try this for the third time. Uncut Gems, boys. Adam Sandler, should he be nominated for anything?
I think he was really good. I mean, I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't like that movie at all. I shut it off.
How far in?
Nice.
Whoa.
45 minutes. I don't like movies where the primary emotion is stress.
Yeah.
And that movie is just like, oh, things are going wrong. Things are going
Oh,
wrong. Things are
dang.
going up a little bit. Oh, no, it's all wrong. It's all bad. It's
I
all
was
bad.
saying this to Riley earlier because we were talking about Uncut Gems a little bit. That movie, if I had to describe it in one word, is relentless.
Right.
Yeah, I
Like
would agree.
it just does not give you a break at any point. People talk over each other. All the lenses are like really long, and like the editing is frantic.
You also said that it's uncomfortable, or you said it's not enjoyable to watch.
No, it's not.
I watched it all the way to the end, David, but I agree. I was like, oh, this is just stressful. Like, my wife was playing Anno 1800 a few feet away throughout, and I was like, how could you just let me watch this beside you? How could you, like, I'm engaged in the movie, so it's tolerable, but if this was just background noise in my house, I'd be like, turn that off.
Right. Yeah, I also watched only half of it. And I was just like, well, we watched half of it because of time constraints, but I have no real need. I don't feel a need to go finish it. Because it was just like, and the other thing that bothered me about that movie was the lack of redeeming qualities in any of the characters.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. It's a tragedy.
Right.
It's
But
a-
you can have some characters in a tragedy where you're like, I like what that guy's doing. But like I don't like any of these people.
I think the I mean, not the goal, but I think part of casting Adam Sandler in that role was because the character by design is not really that likable. Having someone who comes from such a funny comedy background,
he has a starting
playing such a
point.
dramatic role, kind of infuses the likability right off the bat, and then you kind of, because
Is
I
he
know what you mean. He's not that likable, but then
2020.
Adam Sandler, he was an enjoyable part. Like his performance is very good in that film.
Yeah. No, I objectively, I think his performance was what
I want
was
to
good.
address what you said. Is Adam Sandler likable? Yes. Mathematically, yes.
Mathematically,
He is like a huge star, even though all he's produced for like the last 10 years is complete garbage.
Yeah.
And that's because he is so likable. And so like, I agree. They cast him in a genius way because he brings all this cachet of like, oh, it's Adam Sandler. I like him. And he like brings this joy and levity. But the movie, I think, fails to kind of bring any of its own. And it just...
Well, it definitely doesn't bring any joy. But I don't know if I liked it or I liked myself after I was done watching it, but I still thought about it after. Like when it was over, I still was thinking about it for like a good day or two.
Speaking of other snubs, Greta Gerwig. Why wasn't she nominated for Best Director?
Oh, so disappointing.
Yeah,
She
why-
super deserved
Why
to.
is Joker nominated for 11
Yeah,
Oscars?
what?
11 that's the most of any film.
That's messed
Yeah,
up.
It's like
but all-
Return of the King level Oscar.
Yeah, but the rest are all nominated for like 10. There's like 4 of them nominated for 10, and then this one's
But
nominated
Joker
for
was
11.
a comic book movie, and it wasn't even that good.
Okay, actually, that's a good question for you. Do you think comic book movies, by definition, do not deserve to be nominated for the Oscars?
Well,
No.
Endgame's not in here except for visual effects.
Yeah,
Boo,
like
give me that.
why was not Endgame? Why was Infinity War and Endgame not nominated for stuff, but like Joker does? Look, I just
Because they're
you can tell I
tentpoles.
just
Because they're theme parks, Riley. No, I'm kidding.
well, I agree. I think they are more theme parks than cinema, I guess. But like, I would argue the same thing about Joker. I don't think it's like its messaging was muddled. The direction was confusing.
It's way more artistic than something like Infinity or
Yeah,
Endgame.
but like it's like a comic book movie trying to be artistic.
Okay, sure.
Instead of just being like it's a comic book movie.
the hell would you even nominate Endgame for?
Awesomeness.
Maybe production design,
Production design.
score. Like there's other kind of like side categories,
Score
editing,
for
something.
sure.
Like there's
Stunts, they should have a stunt category.
Should have
agree.
some kind of.
They don't have that in the Oscars, eh?
Guys, for me, the personal ones that I feel like were most snubbed and that personally hurt me the most is Rocketman. I think Taron Egerton more than deserved a nomination for Best Actor. He embodies Elton John. He looks not that much like him, but he is Elton John in that movie. And that movie's a spectacular movie in its own right. But him in particular is like magic. It's like one in a lifetime performance. And I think it's such a shame he didn't even get nominated. And the other one is my man on the rise, but stopped by the Academy, is Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy deserved a nomination too. My Name is Dolomite is a way underrated movie, and like if you haven't
Really?
seen it, go see it.
Did you
It's-
just say Eddie Murphy, my man? Yikes, David.
It wasn't
Yikes.
yikes until you stopped it. But
Yep.
yeah, that movie. I think it also got snubbed from Best Costumes because they do such a good job recreating the era, and it's super fun. It's super colorful. It's super big, but it also just feels grounded. Those are my
Dang,
those hurt.
I was not gonna watch My Name Is Dolomite, but now maybe I should.
I'm interested.
Definitely should.
I'm
You know,
gonna give it
I'm
a
really
shot, too.
insulted that Robert De Niro was not nominated for Best Actor.
I'm not.
Just joking.
Let's move
Robert
on.
De
Oh,
Niro is-
before, okay.
Robert
Can I
De
get
Niro.
one more mention before we move on from snubs?
At Brandon.
The Farewell. I know that has anyone in this room watched The Farewell besides
Oh,
me?
is that the one with Awkwafina? No,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I heard
All
good
Asian
things about
cast,
it. I
Asian
haven't,
director Lulu
yeah.
Wang, who's
haven't seen it, but I want to.
my second favorite film this year. Parasite
Really?
being the first favorite. Yes.
So she should.
I
been
have
nominated.
never in my life watched a film that I connected to more directly because it's about a Chinese family, a Western Chinese family, and then they're the side of their family that lives in China, and that dynamic. And being someone who is Western,
Wait, you never saw
Chinese,
Crazy Rich Asians?
I saw Crazy Rich Asians, and that did it too, but on a very different level, and it was a very studio feeling movie, whereas The Farewell is like an indie movie that like just has it's so much heart in the like approach, and it was based on the director's life, so it's a very personal story to her as well.
Did Awkwafina?
Which is owned by Pepsi.
Was she just an actor in it, or was she involved?
She was an actor in it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that was her main, but it's based on the real life story of the director Lulu Wang.
Right on.
Yeah.
David, where are you taking us next?
Nice. We're going to do some rapid fire rounds. We're going to start with the easiest pick of the day, international film.
That's got to be Parasite, right?
Parasite.
Unless Parasite wins Best Picture, will it still win international?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, they don't care about double dipping?
Yeah, it's going to be full Parasite. I put that on there just in case someone just gets nothing right. They get this right.
I appreciate that.
Where else?
I
Next is
personally appreciate that.
Original song. My personal favorite is definitely From Rocketman, I'm Gonna Love Me Again, and I will be so happy if it wins at least one Oscar. But the one I predict to win is going to be From Harriet, because it's just like a upbeat anthem that just
Did you
takes
go and
places.
listen to all these songs?
Yeah, of course.
I actually haven't heard that one.
I can sing it for you. I'm gonna stand up. Da, 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 da,
Stop
Play
it,
at the
please.
end of the movie.
Stop.
Stop this. Okay. I don't care. Go to the next category.
Yeah, I haven't listened to any of those.
Okay.
But I am going to say Into the Unknown by Frozen on Frozen 2.
Oh, I picked Toy Story for my personal and Rocketman for predicted.
My predict is Rocketman, and then Toy Story was my
I hope
favorite.
you guys are right. I'll get those after. Original score. I chose Joker for my winner, and I chose my personal favorite. Split between Marriage Story, a great Randy Newman score, and 1917.
Why did you pick Joker as your predicted?
It just seems to be the one that's like won stuff. Of all the articles I read about like what predicting, it seems to be winning.
For best score?
Dude, you know what's cool about it is it was composed by a female, which is rare, and also it was composed before filming. So actors actually got to listen to it and act according to it. Was what normally happens is there's a placeholder, like they'll take a random existing score from a movie that's like the movie you're making and they'll put that there. Then they cut the movie according to it, and then they replace that with the real score later. And that's why you get so much kind of cookie cutter music in Hollywood, because by the time like the editing is in place, the composer kind of has to make a song with the same beats as what was put in there as a
Because everyone is
placeholder.
married to what they've been listening to.
There's a
That's
really good
really-
video about this from
Yes.
Every Frame of Painting.
Tony Zhao.
Yeah.
Every Frame of
It's
Painting.
really interesting.
Watch that. Watch that video. That's all I have to say.
I'm gonna choose. I am gonna settle with 1917 as my personal favorite, because when I left the theater, I immediately put the score on in my headphones, and I was walking downtown through, and like it's got like the like walking through the trenches song, and I felt like I was like having the most intense walk downtown Vancouver I've ever had.
And this is last night.
Last night.
Nice.
My
dude.
personal favorite was I put Marriage Story. Not that I remember or noticed the score, but just because I saw it was Randy Newman, I was like, whoa, that guy's still alive? I just thought he was from a Family Guy joke.
Oh my God. Predict winner, Marriage Story. Personal favorite, 1917.
It's a great score. I feel like
It
no
is.
one's really talking about the 1917 score.
Oh,
but, like,
because it's subtle,
Yeah.
but like in a great way. And I felt the same way about Marriage Story. Like,
we're gonna,
it's-
yeah, we're gonna talk more about 1917
Yes.
later, I'm sure. But
Oh, yes.
man, I'm excited to talk about it. Okay, speaking of 1917, cinematography.
ooh, my favorite
Okay,
category.
so the
Okay.
nominees. Oh,
The nominees: 1917, Joker, Irishman, Lighthouse, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. These are all pretty good.
Yeah,
The
they
Lighthouse.
I think this is a pretty clear winner. This is the first one that I did double winner for both for both my predicted winner and my personal favorite, and it's 1917.
Double winner?
Roger
Oh, like the same for both.
Deakins.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the thing, though. This movie obviously stands out. The whole movie is a oneer. It looks like one continuous shot. It's amazing, and even though it's one shot, they put in all these weird things that kind of twist your brain and make you go, "What? How do they do that?"
Right.
It's really cool. But Roger Deakins, who's like 80 and is like
70.
He's a legend in the industry. He only got his first Oscar, right, for Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, that's correct. He's been nominated for Best Cinematography. Before he won Blade Runner, he was nominated 14 times,
Whoa.
which is more than I think anyone has been nominated. And I think they're almost all, it was nearly consecutive.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You've been nominated that to every year you're going to the Oscars like this is the year.
And there's many years he should have won.
Yeah.
For me, the big one is he should have won for Skyfall, because that year Life of Pi won, and Life of Pi is a movie made in a computer, and it makes no sense.
They just fed a bunch of information
Yeah.
into a
Put numbers,
algorithm
zeros
and
and
it
ones.
spit it out.
Yeah.
Here's a movie.
So he won for 2018 though, right? So was
No, 1917.
so will he win 2 years in a row?
2 years.
Yes.
That's 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. He didn't win last
2018
It's
is
2020.
Okay, it's 2018. So that would have been 2017 movies. Okay, so it's not 2 years in a row. Okay, well then nothing can stop him. All right.
Are you double 1917ing?
I think I'm going to. I had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood there, but
Do you want it as your safety?
I'm gonna double up. No, I'm gonna just
I'm doubling.
double down.
All 1917?
I'm doubling up on 1917. I loved that movie, man. Oh, so good. I don't think I have a single bad thing to say about it.
I do.
Oh
Screw
god.
you,
Okay.
dude.
Oh,
Let's get there. Let's
okay,
get
let's
there.
go. Let's go.
Okay, so next category, film editing. The Irishman, Parasite, Joker, Jojo Rabbit, and Ford versus Ferrari.
This is the category that I like can barely pay attention to with my movie language that I possess right now. Like, it's very seldom that I'm watching a movie and I'm like, that was a great edit. It happens, but it's not top of mind for me.
I think a lot of it is being invisible. Like, you notice a bad edit way more than you notice a good edit. So.
Montages, I guess Parasite is nominated here, and I think it has won in other shows, and a part of it, they're citing the montage where they poison the maid with the peach.
The Nerd Writer has a very good video on that montage. It's about 60 shots. It's about 5 minutes, and I think he translates the whole peach, like the peach allergy to execution in 6 shots. So that just is an incredible use of time in an edit.
It's brilliant. Yeah. This is my second double pick, and I double pick Parasite for best film editing.
I had Jojo Rabbit as my alternate because I think it won something.
Oh, me too.
Nice.
So
I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, but it seems like it was a really cool movie that I'd like.
Jojo Rabbit is a very heartfelt, fun film.
We'll talk about
Except
it a little bit in a bit.
You didn't like it?
No, it was a heartfelt, fun film until one point in the movie.
Hitler wins.
Double picking
Parasite. Oh, yeah.
Parasite.
Parasite's editing is phenomenal.
Brandon, is the bad point in the movie that Hitler wins?
No.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sound.
Wait.
I was just going to say sorry to the listeners because I had to double up on that joke because no one reacted the first time.
Okay. Next is going to be sound editing and sound mixing. And for those that don't know, sound editing is more in regards to the sounds gathered. So sound effects and kind of like getting interesting sounds. And sound mixing is more about once they have the sounds, what they do with them. And so first we're going to go with sound editing. 1917, Joker, Ford versus Ferrari, Star Wars 9, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I am putting Ford v Ferrari for both these categories, and that's it.
Have you seen Ford vs. Ferrari?
Yes, I have.
What did you think?
I thought it doesn't deserve to be anywhere else on this list other than sound.
I would agree.
Really?
So you're double picking it for both?
I'm gonna hedge and put 1917
as your favorite for both?
as my personal favorite for both, but I'm gonna predict Ford for both.
Sure. Brandon.
1917 is my double for both for this for sure. Ford vs. Ferrari, I agree with you, James. Though, like if it was gonna get nominated for anything, it would be sound because the sound is excellent in that film. But it's not. It's like a 7 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah, it's just I was like, this movie is so fine.
Yeah,
like it's just nothing.
Fine.
It doesn't need to exist. Like there's no message. Like what does this movie say? Nothing.
Yeah.
The conflicts that they set up are just so trivial. It's like who cares? I saw it because Christian Bale's in it, and everyone said it was good.
Yeah,
they were wrong.
and he
like,
was good in it,
fine.
but it's not his best performance by any stretch.
No.
Like,
It's not going to get Best Picture for sure.
I'm going to do, I had 1917 for everything, both double stacked. I'm going to change my predicted winner for sound mixing to Ford versus Ferrari, so then we can all have it just a little bit different, so the scoring might be different.
That's
Riley?
nice of you.
Riley, tell me what you are.
1917.
Everything?
All the way.
Follow that heart. Double down. That's 4 votes.
Actually, Ad Astra.
what did you see Ad Astra?
No. But it's got to win for something.
Just because Brad Pitt's in it?
How would you like to be like a movie that wasn't nominated for anything else except sound mixing?
Yeah, that feels weird, hey?
I mean, I don't want to bash sound mixers out there, but I'm just saying, like
Your
it's
agent
like
calls you up?
Ad Astra, the draw there is not the sound mixing. It's
a
Brad
space
Pitt.
movie.
I mean,
Brad
space movies.
Pitt.
Sound is a huge part of space movies.
But do you think his
Yeah,
agent like phones up Brad Pitt and he's like, Brad, Ad Astra's up for an Oscar, baby. Sound mixing.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's about time.
I didn't even meet that guy.
Oh, shit. Next, David.
We're going to visual effects.
Okay.
Endgame.
As your double winner?
Or there's 2 visual effects categories?
Or no,
Oh.
but are you hedging?
Endgame?
I'll just put I'll put Avengers for both.
Okay.
I mean, The Lion King is in the category.
It's not winning.
Honestly, my predicted winner is 1917 for VFX. And then my favorite was Endgame. But the reason I chose 1917 for best VFX is because it took so many VFX artists to make those cuts feel so seamless. And there are cuts in place, like watching BTS of 1917, there are so many cuts in places I didn't think that they would try to hide a cut. Like as in the scene where the plane is coming towards them and the camera like whips around behind, I can't remember which character, one of them, there's a cut hidden in where they go around his back. And it's not like it goes so close that like it goes to black.
It's not like a full wipe.
No, but it just they hit a cut.
See,
right there.
that's interesting because there are a couple points in that movie where you're like, oh, there's
That's
a cut
where
there.
the cut is.
Yeah.
That was not one of them for me. I did
Isn't
not
there-
assume that
There's-
they would put a cut
There's a
there.
part where it goes black.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's because he gets knocked out and then he wakes up.
So they didn't keep filming while he was
Let the cameras roll,
knocked
baby.
out for 8 hours.
I mean, it's obviously a brilliant movie. I found there was too many cuts in that movie that I noticed. There was like a few too many like slow kind of like moves around like an out of focus
Yeah.
hill. That I'm like, okay, and then like all of a sudden the movement changes, and there's a few of those where like someone steps in front of the camera, and then the camera's moving in a weird way, and I can tell like there's something masked.
But
this
You do have an eye for this thing, though.
that's fair.
That's kind of what I'm saying, though, is that I noticed some parts like that, but then Brandon's also saying that there were even more parts that I didn't notice, so that's very impressive.
I want to actually know how many cuts are in that film,
I'd love
and if
to
you knew that number, and then you thought about what, like, watching it, because I mean, yes, I agree. There are definitely points where you feel like, yes, this is where they had the cut, but there are just as many of those points where you have no idea, and that's, I think, great VFX that you don't notice. In the same way.
34.
Absolutely.
Apparently 34 hidden cuts.
Wow,
Wow.
I could probably name 5.
So do you think they're just going to totally snub Avengers?
Billy, Bob.
I hope not. I think the Marvel universe has been such a like groundbreaking theater experience, and it's one of the few things that's getting people to theaters. I feel like it'd be silly for the Academy to just completely ignore it.
Not only that, but that franchise actually does have the best effects.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Every time they do a de-aging or like a completely CG suit, like when they go back in time, all their suits are completely CG. Like
that's
they
really
have
impressive.
World-leading CG.
They are pushing the industry forward in that.
Yes.
Even the fact that Thanos is completely CGI, but like it doesn't bother anybody. No one's like, oh,
No.
Thanos is not real.
He's still like uncanny valley. Like you can still tell that he's CG.
but it's the right amount of cartoony with reality that it just kind of works.
Yeah.
Looks
definitely
so
works.
good.
Well, and even their de-aging, is so good now.
The Irishman was excellent, honestly.
No.
Like in that regard.
The Marvel de-aging. Like de-aging technology has come a long way as well, but like I think in the first few Marvel movies where they started to de-age people, you were kind of like, oh, that looks kind of cool, I guess, but I can definitely tell that it's like a thing. But now I feel like it's at the point where
You don't even notice it at all.
like old Captain America.
Well, that's not VFX.
What about the
Looked great,
when they
though.
de-aged Robert Downey Jr. to like teenage? Was that in Infinity War or Endgame?
Infinity War.
Yeah, it was worse, but that was 2017. So
All right, next category, we're gonna go rocket speed, hair and makeup.
I have Bombshell for hair and makeup. I think that's probably a shoe-in, and then Joker after that, just because, yeah, I don't know, maybe the iconic Joker mask could win.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of like kind of designing the hair and makeup that like we really remember what it looks like. So I can agree with that. Brandon, what's yours?
Bombshell and Joker.
Nice.
Same as James.
Riley?
I'm gonna go with Judy.
Hell yeah.
Just throwing darts at a board.
Although my personal favorite is Maleficent.
Have you seen Maleficent?
She's got those big horns. How did they get them on there?
Look at my cheekbones.
I chose Bombshell as the predicted winner, and 1917 is my favorite. I just think that movie does such an incredible job of like
For hair and makeup?
yeah
It was just their hair.
and makeup. I think
The entire
there's just
makeup
like
team.
you never think about it in that movie. It just feels like such a real place, such a real time, such a real event, and like that's invisible. And I like
That, and you know
invisible.
what? The makeup team on that would have had to work so hard because so many actors are in those scenes and they have to process all of them.
Yep.
So that, like, hats off to them for that.
So-
And
Soldiers-
continuity.
Yep.
And like just being covered by a film of dust after something collapses
my
on you or
gosh.
something like that, it's a lot.
Next, production design. The nominees are Parasite, 1917, Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
This was a
Okay.
hard one.
I
honestly.
think-
It was.
Yeah, this is a coin flip for me. Everyone knows if they listen to our Parasite episode that some of the sets that were created for Parasite, you would think are locations. They're just sets, like the house that it takes place in. They built the semi-basement neighborhood. I think they built the whole neighborhood. So I think that's kind of my predicted winner. But I also could see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood winning because it was such a great representation of like, hey, this is 60s Hollywood. It really felt transporting.
I can't agree more. My personal favorite is Parasite because I think it's an achievement in like everything in the frame is telling the story, and like the whole house is built to tell the story. Whereas Once Upon a Time is more like, okay, we're recreating this era, we're doing this, and I don't feel like it serves the story as tightly.
Wow.
That being said, I predict that Once Upon a Time will win, but my personal favorite is Parasite.
I thought 1917 was going to win because, again, the nature of that film being one take, they're designing gigantic trenches that are and it would have to, like, they talked about how it would have to take them 7 minutes to walk from one end to the other to make the take work.
They had to design the sets around the shot they wanted to do.
Yeah, and like for the flare scene, they did like 3D. They built models to test the lighting, but then all the sets had to be so meticulously prepared in order for them, again, the characters to run through them the way that they did.
And they also had to build the sets so that the time would be right.
Yeah,
like they're like, this shot is supposed to last 6 minutes, so then they had to build the set so that it would take them 6 minutes to get from one end to the other.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I had 1917 as my predicted winner.
1917 is my predicted winner.
And Maleficent as my...
I don't think it's nominated.
When you consider that stuff, the fact that they just like built a fancy house for Parasite is kind of like...
No, well, honestly, I think there's a lot of artistry in that too, because the house is built to camera height.
Right.
Like everything is perfect for the lenses that they decided to choose, and all the shapes are designed really well.
That's crazy.
Woven into the story.
I didn't know
like,
that.
That house is designed. I thought that house was a location.
Totally. And I mean, like, 1917 is incredible, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but a lot of what you see on screen is just throwing money at it and throwing enough, like, moderately skilled people to put enough costumes, to put enough trench, to put enough that, whereas, like, the fact that there's more doesn't make it better. It just is impressive.
David, I'm switching my votes around. I'm going to predict that Hollywood wins, and I'm going to hedge with Parasite.
Yep.
Because I think that they're going to have to throw Hollywood a bone, because I don't think it's going to win many other.
I agree. Guys, we're getting really close to the end of this. Next is going to be costume design. We're going to go quickly through this because it's similar to production design, I guess, a little bit. My predicted winner, Little Women. I think they did an incredible job recreating an era, and it's like just flawless. My second choice, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, kind of for the same reasons we talked about. It really transports you back to that time. That being said, sometimes some of the hippies felt like modern Instagram models to me.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because that trend is just like back.
Yep.
I hedged with Little Women because I think they're going to make up for the fact that the director was snubbed. But I actually think that the winner is going to be Jojo Rabbit, just because Hollywood likes period pieces, and period pieces are great for costumes like Little Women. But Jojo Rabbit just has more originality and flair. They're colorful costumes, and it's kind of cool.
But I love in the climax when Sam Rockwell's character comes in and he has like the weird elaborate costume that he's shown in a drawing before, and he's like shooting the machine gun, and you're like, wait, what? What's going on? Oh, that's great.
That film is so fun.
I haven't seen the movie, and I just imagined it, and it was really funny.
I laughed.
I doubled up on Jojo Rabbit, even though I haven't seen it, but from what I saw of the trailer, it looks like they got some fun clothes.
I love the build-up of the shoes in that film. Mm-hmm. You just like you feel like there's certain shots you just feel the shoes, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's from his perspective because he's a kid, and then the shoes just give you a big reveal.
Yeah. I think what I most liked about that movie, and some people didn't like, is actually the way that it has a huge tonal shift, where it starts as like this fun, like hilarious, like Hitler Youth comedy, and then as the kid is becoming disillusioned with like what Nazis stand for, the movie is becoming more transparent about like the evils of what's going on. And I think it actually does a really effective job of like bringing you there, and I think that's like a great strength of the movie, this tonal shift of like this kid becoming disillusioned with all the evils that the party's committing. Okay, well, next we're going to talk about animated feature film. My winner, Toy Story.
Of course.
Yep.
Toy Story.
Here's the thing, though. Toy Story 4 was not as good as Toy Story 3.
Wrong.
Toy Story 3 won last time. Can Toy Story win every time one's released?
Toy Story 4 is better than 3.
Why are you lying?
Whoa.
Agree.
You agree with me?
No, I agree that Toy Story 4 was better than Toy Story 3.
I don't know if it was better, but it was as good, probably.
Yes.
I don't think other than that, there's no real standout. I think I Lost My Body is kind of a cool movie. Claus is a really incredible Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie. Missing Link is not the best Studio Leica film.
But it was also the upset at the Golden Globes. Missing Link won.
Oh, yeah.
Best
And
animated.
I believe Claus won at another show. I put it on last night, but I didn't care that much, and I fell asleep.
Is it Claus or Klaus?
They call him Klaus in the movie, actually. But I think it's both, actually.
It's whatever you want.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I predict that Toy Story will win, and I'm going to hedge with Missing Link.
I'm going to hedge. I'm going to do Toy Story 4, and I'm going to hedge with I Lost My Body.
Ooh. All right, next is original screenplay. Okay. All right, so there's Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, Knives Out, and 1917.
All you people who love Knives Out, prove it. Pick it.
I did. It's my personal favorite.
Oh my god.
Personal favorite, but not
It's not
winner.
the one I think it won. The one I think Parasite's going to win.
Parasite won the Writers Guild Awards for
That's
original screenplay.
Pretty good indicator.
So
Did
that's
it?
my predicted.
Yeah.
I'm changing.
I think the strength of Knives Out is its script. I think it's fun. It's quick. It's quirky. It's great characters. It's got a lot going on with very little. And so I really enjoyed it. I picked it for my favorite.
Yeah. I feel like Knives Out took a existing concept and executed on it really well. It's like Clue the movie, but not bad. And I think that's, I think it's great. But I don't know if it's the best original screenplay because it's like, it's a murder mystery. It's pretty formulaic, but it's fun.
Yep.
My personal favorite, I picked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino's won Oscars before, only ever for screenplays.
Really?
I think he could do it again.
See, I had that first, and then somebody said something about Parasite won a thing, and then that swayed me, and now here I am.
My predicted is Marriage Story. I like
that.
Noah Baumbach's screenplay. I think lots of people have said it's his best screenplay ever, and I would probably agree with that.
Was it even scripted?
Yes. Oh, yes. What? You thought Marriage Story wasn't scripted?
It has that.
I haven't seen it.
It is actually meticulously scripted. Like the actors are not allowed to go outside.
Really?
Of it's that type of film.
Oh,
It
Like,
still has that character, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's so good at writing, and
See,
so that's
that's
why I
interesting.
think Marriage Story is going to win. My personal favorite was Parasite, though. Yeah. But yeah,
I would have guessed that there was improvisation involved.
the reason that I think you might feel that way is because Noah Baumbach's style is like hyper realism in dialogue and in his filmmaking like process and the way that he like just portrays people on
Right.
film.
Hey, can we talk about the blocking in that movie?
Yes. Oh.
Tell us what blocking is.
Okay. Oh man. How do you block it? Okay, blocking is like the motion of actors in a scene and the way that you're going to cover it, where you're putting the camera and what the actors are doing to playing to camera and how that all comes
So
together.
if my back is to the screen versus my front to the screen.
Yes.
And if I'm in the middle of this frame versus being on the edge of the frame.
Exactly.
So in his movie, in Marriage Story, it's so cool because there's so many long monologues or long shots where they start sitting in a chair talking to another character, and then they get up and they make tea, and then they return to their chair, and the camera just follows them the whole way. There's one scene where they go into the bathroom, they're having an argument, someone follows the other person to the bathroom, the camera doesn't follow them, it just stays in the living room, and you can only see like a sliver of the actors while they're in the bathroom, and then they finally come out again. It's really cool.
And it just
makes
feels
you
like
feel
real life.
You're a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Always wanted
Excellent.
to be a fly.
The restraint in the camera movement, but when it does move, and then when it escalates into their fight in that film is so good.
I feel like it could have been a play.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah. Why do you feel like it could have been played? Because I felt like it was a perfect use of the medium of film.
I feel like perfect is a very strong word. I feel like the strength of this movie is the dialogue and the performances, and those are out of this world. They're so good, and it does feel improvised. It does feel like it's just like coming out of them, but it's all meticulously prepared. It's all this, but there's nothing in that film to me that couldn't be on a stage with very slight alterations and be just as powerful.
Here's why it couldn't be a play. One freedom that film has is that you can switch locations or time whenever you want. Whereas in a play, normally they only do real like scene changes at the end of acts. So this movie takes place in New York and LA. So to go back and forth as much as they do would have been really tedious on the stage.
I think like they're only in New York for the first like 10 minutes and then they're in LA for the rest of it.
That's not true. They go back and forth like 3 times.
He's there for like a second. I think
you didn't even finish the movie.
No, I finished it.
You could do that in a play by just having like a split set and one's dark at one time.
There's a lot of clever problem solving. You can make it more abstract so that it doesn't have to be like full sets. You can kind of just bring in props and stuff.
I still don't think it'd play as well as a play versus as a film.
I don't know. I feel like this...
Do you play a play though?
It would have had to have been changed.
Yes.
Slightly.
But it could have done it, I guess.
All right. So that brings us to Best Adapted Screenplay, which is The Irishman, Joker, Little Women, Two Popes, and Jojo Rabbit.
So that means that the source material is a book or something, right?
Yeah, or a real life, or something that it's based on.
See, why isn't Knives Out in this?
It's not based on a real life.
Based on Clue.
Jeez, Riley with all the 1-2s today.
My personal favorite is Little Women. I think they did an amazing job. Little Women is actually 2 books that they've combined into one, and then they actually took all the dialogue. Almost every line of dialogue in that film is something that the author of Little Women wrote, but not necessarily in that book. But they all brought it together so that it works, and it's so seamless. You would never think of that. Like watching it, I never would have known. But it's just seamless and like effortless, and it just feels so good.
That's pretty cool.
What's your predicted winner, though?
I chose Jojo Rabbit.
Me too.
I think it's like the right award. It's kind of the award they give to up and coming filmmakers before they've made like their masterpiece. And like this isn't Taika Waititi's masterpiece. It's very good, but it seems like the appropriate award to give him.
I feel like it's maybe his his first high profile. Because like, what else has he done that's not like a fun romp? Like he did
Hunt
Ragnarok,
for the Wilder People.
Hunt for the Wilder People, but was that nominated for Oscars?
I don't think it's eligible.
And it was kind of like it's a New Zealand film. Like it didn't really make its way over here that much.
Boy's another really good one of his, but it's too small.
Right.
Never would have been recognized.
We're moving up in the world.
Nice job, Taika.
Nate.
You know, you guys. I'm getting the feeling that you didn't like the two popes, but I gotta listen. I didn't see it.
Make a case for the two popes, Riley.
I did not see it, but I'm just have a feeling about this.
You know, popes are dramatic. If you have two,
Exactly. It's a book about popes, and they
It is
turn
set
that
in the
into a
Vatican.
movie.
No, it's a real life story. That movie is just for Catholic people, Catholic old people. How many of them are in the academy?
So the two popes, I just got a feeling in my gut about it. And as much as I said I'm going with my gut on these things, I have tried to be analytical for the most part. But this is 100% a gut thing.
Hell yeah. Are you doubling down?
No,
on two
my
popes?
personal favorite's Jojo Rabbit. I love that movie.
It is excellent.
Haven't seen it.
Brandon.
Oh my God. Little Women. Double down.
The Two Popes is based on The Pope by Anthony McCartan.
Okay.
Yes.
Guys, we're here. We're at the end. The big ones.
Wow.
Ooh.
The bad boys.
This is the hardest to pick, honestly, for me.
Oh yes.
We're going to start with directing. Although historically, directing and Best Picture, I think it's about 73% match rate. If you win Best Director, you have like about a 73% chance historically to win Best Picture.
Historically.
Historically.
That actually makes my life way easier because I thought that it would be the opposite. And if I picked 1917 for Best Picture, which I think it clearly is, then that meant that Mendes wasn't going to win for the directing, but he did win at previous precursor shows, and I just have him for both. Double down.
Double down.
I mean, actually, I'm not doubling down because I'm hedging with Parasite, the other favorite.
I'm going Parasite for both.
You're quadrupling down?
Quadrupling
No. What
down.
What are you talking about? For both?
No, we're
Start
doing
again.
okay,
Start again.
Go with directing. What was your directing prediction?
Are we
Riley?
talking about both Best Picture and directing at the
Sort
same
of.
time? I
We
can't
sort of
multitask.
Okay, no, let's start with the directing.
Directing. Parasite. I liked it a lot. I feel like I haven't. Well, wait. I actually have seen a bunch of these movies. I've seen 1917 and Joker and some of The Irishman.
Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No,
All right.
but I think Parasite's gonna win because I believe. I don't know. I just really that movie was like so quality on so many levels, and I just. I mean, directing is kind of like the whole thing, right? Wait, what's the difference between directing and Best Picture, Brandon?
I think directing recognizes the craft specifically of directing, being the head of the team that makes the film, being the one that's the visionary that brings most of all these pieces together, person being the one who makes all the big decisions about the film. And Best Picture, I think, is
How
more
the movie
about
turned out in spite of the director.
Yeah, what people thought was the best film of that year, despite like the very good skill of everyone involved.
Here's another way to look
Seems
at it.
about the same.
Here's another way to look at it. The award show that is the best predictor for what's going to be Best Picture is the Producers Guild Awards.
What won Best
Love
Picture
those
there?
guys.
They 1917.
Of course.
Dang.
Yeah. And it's actually it's not the director that goes up to accept the Best Picture. It's the producers.
That makes sense. They are also the money people.
I'm playing the game a little bit here. I'm gonna alternate who's gonna win because usually it's the same that wins Best Directing, Best Picture. So I'm gonna choose Best Director is Sam Mendes, but Best Picture is Parasite, and I'm gonna hedge opposites wise.
Okay.
Just so I can get the most points because I want to win.
I'm sorry, Tarantino. I love you, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was an hour too long. It was self-indulgent. Shame on you. I love you though, but shame.
This was actually sort of the year of auteurs being self-indulgent. Scorsese and Tarantino both made incredibly long movies that were...
Screw those guys.
This is your Phantom Menace. Stop. Someone needs to edit you.
Yeah, come on. What happened to restraint?
I think it just leaves Brandon. What's
Best for directing.
Best Director.
Parasite, double down.
Okay.
I'm fully in on Parasite.
Oh,
being best directing.
God,
I
this
think
is a
Bong
real-
Joon-ho.
The stakes are
completely
high now.
Yeah. And then Best Picture, unfortunately, and actually I did love 1917. I think 1917 will win. I wish Parasite would win. I hope Parasite wins. It would be much more historic than 1917 winning. But
It would be
We'll
the
see.
first foreign language film
that wins
Because
Best
I
Picture.
thought that title was given to Roma last year, but Green Book won last year. It just should have been Roma.
Yes.
Green Book should not have won.
Oh,
So
Guys, the milkshake comes down to this pick. This,
yeah,
Best Picture.
this is a big
Yeah.
pick.
Is it a Best Picture or not? Yes or no? Go.
What the fuck? Okay, guys. Those are our picks. Fill out your score sheets before the Oscars happen.
Yeah.
You're going to fill out your score sheets.
Yep.
And you're going to post a picture on Twitter at Carpool Critics, and we're going to see which among us or our fan base gets the highest score.
It's going to be me. I'm just calling it right now. Prepare for defeat. I'm going to slurp up that milkshake like a milkshake slurper.
What flavor are you going to get, Slurpy Boy?
Chocolate, of course.
Chocolate. This is doo-doo, baby. I'm out.
See you later.